Good morning, everybody. We are off to a good start today. I look so tired, but that's okay. This is the next set of monthly movie wrap-ups. This is for February. Let's see if I can get it out before April. That would be really good. This month we have 25, but it's not going to be as long as last time. I'm going to really try not to. I'm going to really crack the whip and get to it. So first off is Magic Mike 2012, starring Channing Tatum, Matthew McConaughey, Alex Pettyfer, and Cody H. Carolyn. This, you guys know Magic Mike. It's strippers, and surprisingly, a lot more serious than I thought it was going to be. My friend Erica wanted to watch it. Then she put on Magic Mike 2, and I was like, hold on. You said Magic Mike. We have to watch the first Magic Mike. And she puts it on. She had never seen it either, and she was really confused based on her only seeing the second one. The second one is apparently, and as we'll find out, funny and not as serious. It's crazy stuff. I didn't like it. I gave it 2 stars because I was expecting funny stripper culture. And I get why it would want to be taken seriously. You know, the whole, oh, at first it's fun and then it's not. Kind of like the Hustlers movie from last month. But it just didn't work out. The color grading was super off-putting. And I hated it, except for the few scenes of stripping and dancing that didn't make me cringe, because there were a lot of cringy dance. Would I buy a DVD of this? No, I didn't like it. I wouldn't watch it again because it made me so uncomfortable. Did love Matthew McConaughey in it though, even though he was a prick. Next up, Captain Fantastic 2016, starring Viggo Mortensen, George McKay, Samantha Isler, Annalise Basso, and a couple other people. Directed by Matt Ross. Magic Mike was directed by Steven Soderbergh, I forgot to mention. This was a rewatch because it's one of my absolute favorite movies in the world. It makes me cry every single time, so needless to say, I gave it a 5 stars. It just hits you in your gut and core in a way like no other movie. It will briefly make you think, oh, I need to work out and do all these crazy things, work out in that way, and fuck the system, and I'm just gonna read this, and this, and I'm not gonna be like these sheep, and then I am one of the sheep. Bah. I thought Viggo Mortensen was wonderful. All of the kid acting was fantastic as well. Yeah, just a really solid movie. The colors in this, absolutely gorgeous. Would I buy a DVD of it? Of course. I would really, really love to find one because I could rewatch this over and over and over and cry every time. Next up is Wine Country 2019, starring Amy Poehler and directed by her, Maya Rudolph, Rachel Dratch, Anna Gasteyer, and a few others. This was a 3-star. This was watched in the same day as Captain Fantastic, and while I love Captain Fantastic, it does send me on an emotional spiral. So I wanted to watch a comedy to kind of lighten the mood, and this one was like perfectly on the line. It was okay. It had some funny moments. Overall, it wasn't like super memorable, like good. I can't tell you any funny lines from it that I quote around all the time because there were none. It's about a group of women in their 40s to 50s, I would assume, who are celebrating one of their friends' 50th birthday, and they go to Wine Country, and all of them are really good friends, but they've kind of been lying to each other, and their friendships have not been doing so great, and it all kind of comes to the surface on this trip. And it was fine. There were some funny moments, like I said, but overall not super memorable. Perfectly an okay movie. It didn't break me out of my sadness. So would I buy a DVD of it? No. Like I said, I don't even know if they do have a DVD of it. I don't know if Netflix movies get DVDs, which is a good question to look up later. After that, also in the same day, because I had to break the slump that was not broken by Wine Country, I watched Murder Mystery with Adam Sandler, Jennifer Aniston, Luke Evans, Gemma Arterton, and directed by Kyle Newacheck. This is from 2019. 4 stars. You know, that Sandman, he can do no wrong in my eye. He always lifts my spirits when they are low. He makes me laugh when I'm about to cry. Even though it's so stupid, he gets it. He gets it. Thank God he gets it. Murder Mystery is not one of, like, my top Adam Sandler movies. It's good. I gave it 4 stars. I think it'd be hard to find an Adam Sandler movie that I would give less than 4 stars, because they always hit for me. But I liked it. I liked the murder mysteries. I liked Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler together. And I thought it was... This one, I think, finally broke the slump that I had been feeling. And so would I buy a DVD of it? Absolutely. I would buy every single Adam Sandler movie, even the ones that I don't like. Can I think of one that I don't like right now? The Cobbler. I didn't fully watch it, but I watched like the first half hour of it and I couldn't get into it. Next up is Murder Mystery 2, starring Adam Sandler, Jennifer Aniston, Mark Strong, and Melanie Laurent, directed by Jeremy Garelick. This one I also gave 4 stars. It was pretty much, you know, a rehash of the first murder mystery, just now it's a different mystery that they gotta contend with, and Mark Strong is in it, and Mark Strong is for life. Fine. If I had to choose between them, I might pick the first one, but both 4 stars. Would I buy a DVD of this? Yes, we've already established that. Next up, Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo, 2005, directed by Mike Bigalow, and starring Rob Schneider, Eddie Griffin, Jerion Krabbe, and Hannah Verboom, and a little bit of Adam Sandler in for you. 3.5 stars. I watched this with Chris and my sister-in-law when we were, you know, drinking, and it was the perfect, like, kind of background movie, but you get sucked in at some points. And I had a really good time looking up all of the sex acts on Urban Dictionary. Highly recommend. I'd never seen it before. They thought that all of these things were made up, and I was proving them wrong left and right. Never have a Portuguese breakfast, I think it's called. I think it's Portuguese breakfast, where you scramble eggs in a woman's pearl clam. I guess the eggs would be the pearl in this situation. Would I buy a DVD of it? Maybe. I definitely I like both of the Deuce Bigalows, but, you know, they don't do it quite the same as an Adam Sandler movie would. If this had been, what's it called, when Rob Schneider becomes a teenage girl. Rob Schneider is a teenage girl. Thank you, South Park. That one I would definitely buy. This one, on the fence. It's pretty funny, but I don't know. After that, we had My Big Fat Greek Wedding, 2002, directed by Joel Zwick, and starring Nia Vardalos, John Corbett, Lainey Kazan, and Michael Constantine. I gave this 4 stars. I was actually watching this for free on YouTube while I was editing my last monthly movie wrap-up, so obviously I didn't get a lot of editing done, This was a nice little rom-com family movie. I think my mom really likes this movie, which is no surprise to me based on, you know, the content of it. It's just really like cozy. And maybe that was because of the quality of the video I was watching, but it felt like, you know, it felt like a DVD I put in late night in my family home, and it was just cozy. I wouldn't buy a DVD of it just because I don't see myself rewatching it. It's not as cozy or entertaining as like some other movies that are kind of similar. I don't see why they needed 3 of them. I don't think I'll watch the other 2 because I feel like it's enough. It's too much. Next up is I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Parker, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Ryan Phillip. Directed by Jen Gillespie. I still haven't perfected my pronunciation of names, as you can see. 3.5 stars. I thought I was going to hate this movie because a lot of people have just told me like it's shit, and you know, it wasn't my absolute favorite horror movie, but it's like essentially 90s. It is like, I would say, a perfect 90s horror movie, which is why it gets 3.5 stars. The other ones in the series are probably and most definitely worse than this one, but me and Chris had a really good time watching it. I knew like the spoilery ending of like, oh my god, who done it? I knew that going into it, but it didn't really detract from my enjoyment of it because I thought it was really complicated and what's the word? Convoluted anyways, the whodunit. So going into it knowing whodunit is a lot easier to understand. Would I buy a DVD of this? Yes. Yes, I would. Liked it enough, and it's a horror movie. It's not like a bad horror movie, it's a perfectly decent horror movie. Have I said perfectly decent enough for you guys today? Fuck. It's like I don't have any proper opinions. Yes, I would buy the DVD of it because I liked it enough to pay like $5 for it. Okay, is that what you guys want to hear? And I don't want to hear that I've given other movies higher ratings and not bought their DVDs. That's not the point. The star rating does not equate to the would I buy a DVD of it or not. That is a separate, special thing that only I can understand. I cannot explain it to you guys. Next up is Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, 1995, directed by Steve Dedekirk, and starring Jim Carrey, Ian McNeice, Simon Callow, and Maynard Iziashi. Never seen the first one. Went straight to the second one because Chris wanted to watch it, and I give it 3 stars. I said in the last video concerning Batman Forever that I like Jim Carrey, and I do, but I just really didn't. I don't care for like the Ace Ventura character whatsoever. It's not funny to me. It had some good moments, but overall that's not the Jim Carrey that I like. My brother and anybody else who grew up like 80s, 90s fuck hard with this era of Jim Carrey. Not really my style. This movie also had every single thing I hate, which is like hawking loogies, playing with the eyeballs during the torture scene, and also scratching a plate with a fork. And I turned to Chris, who picked this movie, and I said, "Do you hate me? Did you want me to be uncomfortable during this entire thing?" And he started laughing, and he was like, "I completely forgot about all these things until they were happening on the screen." So I suspect sabotage. You guys let me know what you think. So I think it's clear, would I buy a DVD of it? No, because I don't want to put myself through the torture again. Next up, we're going higher, people. Our Idiot Brother, directed by Jesse Peretz in 2011. starring Paul Rudd, Elizabeth Banks, Zooey Deschanel, and Emily Mortimer. I gave this 4.5 stars. I really, really loved this movie. I had always seen, you know, like the cover of it on Netflix or whatever streaming platforms, and I was just like, oh, it's one of those like early 2010s comedy movies that are either really good or are really, really terrible. And this one, it was really, really good. So I wrote maybe in my notes, the Notebook, as you remember. I wrote maybe in my notes for a DVD, but I've since changed my mind. I would definitely buy a DVD of this. It was so incredibly quirky and enjoyable and just happy-go-lucky, even though like some bad stuff was happening in it, you know, cheating, breakups, whatever, impregnation. But it was wonderful. When I say quirky, maybe that's just because of the Zooey Deschanel of it all, of her being in there, the twee. Next was I Like Movies, that came out in 2022. Directed by Chandler Levac and starring Isaiah Lehtinen, Romina Dugo, Krista Bridges, and Percy Hines White. I gave this 4 stars. I thought it was going to be a lot lower. I thought it was going to be like a 3.5, because the main character, before he gets his like redemption at the end, not a spoiler, most movies go like that, the main character is so whiny and to some extent privileged, like not privileged in the regular privileged way, but just like, oh, you think you're the most important here, that you're better than everybody else, get fucked. He also reminds me of this guy from high school who is exactly like this, super whiny and blames everybody else for his faults, and is now actually a pedophile. So yeah, you know, so I thought I was gonna hate this movie, and I didn't. I really enjoyed the ending and the relationships that formed throughout. I haven't really been giving synopsises of these movies because I feel like most people know them, and as you saw from the last video, I fast forwarded through them anyways. But this one I'll tell you a little bit about. It's about this kid who is about to graduate high school, and he loves movies. He needs to watch a movie every day, or else he doesn't feel like a person. He finally gets a job at basically a Blockbuster to save up money for school. He wants to go to college in New York for film, so he can shoot on 35mm or whatever. And it's just him basically getting his shit handed to him. He treats his friends poorly, his coworkers, his mom, everybody. And by the end of it, he's like, oh, I need to stop being a piece of shit, appreciate the people around me, and actually like get to know other people and not just force myself onto them. Which, what a thing that some people really, really need to learn. I also just really liked all of the scenes in the Blockbuster-esque area. It's not a Blockbuster, but we're calling it Blockbuster. And I liked his dynamic with his manager in there. They were really funny together. Would I buy a DVD of it? Maybe. It's a really interesting... Complicated's not the right word, but I have a complicated relationship to it, so I'm going to use the word complicated. Where I have such strong and opposite feelings about it that I don't know if I would rewatch it because of like all the feelings and like just the annoyance that came out through the first pretty much half, 2/3 of the movie. But it is also just a really good movie that I would want in a collection. So we're gonna go with a hard maybe. Next is Inception, directed by Christopher Nolan in 2010, and starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Elliot Page, Ken Watanabe, and Tom Hardy. If I'm forgetting other key people, I mean, there's Michael Caine in it. If I'm forgetting other key people, I'm sorry. I can only name so many names. If you want to know the cast members, go search it up. 5 stars. This was my first Christopher Nolan movie, guys. Oh my god, I'm no longer a baby. I broke. It was on my top 100 movies list, and I was also just like, I've never seen a Christopher Nolan movie. I gotta start at some point, and Inception is like the Christopher Nolan movie, the film bro movie. And it lived up. It lived up to the hype. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Chris and I made a little charcuterie plate and just locked in. And we talked about it for like half an hour afterwards, just discussing the ending and such. For those of you who don't know, it's about a world where these two guys or this company have created a device that can kind of go into your memories, into your dreams, and take information or implant information. And they're trying to implant a very specific piece of information into a very key, important guy's mind. What a terrible description, which is why I don't get descriptions anymore. I don't know. This had to have won awards in its year. I know Leonardo DiCaprio didn't win any because his first Oscar was The Revenant. Maybe he won other awards that weren't Oscars, I don't know. But I feel like it's so good. It kept, Leonardo DiCaprio's whole storyline in this kept reminding me of Shutter Island. And that's all I'll say. So would I buy a DVD of it? Hell yeah. Yes. And I need a token of something to make sure that this reality is real. Because who knows? Next was a rewatch. I rewatched Hereditary from 2018, directed by Ari Aster and starring my lovely Toni Collette, Alex Wolff, Gabriel Byrne, and Anne Dowd. My mom had never seen this, and she saw the dinner scene on TikTok, and she was like, oh, this looks like such a wonderful movie. We should watch it. And I was like, yes, we should watch it. Put it on right now. And then she got suspicious as to why I was so excited for her to watch it and why I had to be there for her to watch it. It's because she doesn't hate horror movies, but she gets really easily scared, and she hates possession and incantations and all that. So I was like, yeah, put it on right now. Oh, cults, she hates cults. I love this movie so much. I don't know if I said it already. 5 stars. 5 stars on the first watch, 5 stars on the second watch. The first time I watched this, I had to pause. I think when like the bird hit the window, which is so early into this movie compared to all the other crazy shit, I just had to pause and like wipe my hands because they were so clammy. And it's so enjoyable to watch another person watch a movie that you've seen that you know like gets really bad shit crazy. There's nothing like it in the world, really. I think Toni Collette was snubbed for nominations, particularly Oscar. It was lovely and fantastic. If this came out now, like in this year, she probably would have been nominated for an Oscar for Best Leading Actress. Because, by God, would I buy a DVD of it? Yes, of course. Like I said last time, I think I would buy like a book of this, of like the behind the scenes of whatever of it. Give it to me, inject it in my veins. Next, also watched with my mom, Ticket to Paradise. Came out in 2022, directed by Ol Parker. O-L. And starring Julia Roberts, George Clooney, Caitlin Dever, and Maxime Boutier. I gave this a 4 stars. We put it on because my mom loves Julia Roberts, and she'd never seen this one. Neither have I. And, you know, I fuck with George Clooney. Nah, he's good in my book. Another rom-com, vacation rom-com this time. And it was a perfectly fine movie. Imagine, like, when I say perfectly fine movie, it's like My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where, you know, you put it on and you're like, yeah, like, that was a good movie. I enjoyed it. But I wouldn't watch it again. I didn't have more thoughts of it afterwards. no funny quotable lines to tell you. Perfectly fine movie. So would I buy a DVD of it? No, good. Next, heavy hitter, The Prestige, directed by, once again, Christopher Nolan, and starring Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Michael Caine, and briefly, David Bowie. 5 stars. Are we shocked? Shouldn't be, because I'm on that Nolan train now. I'm one of the film bros, you know? Just a couple of guys watching Nolan. Sick. I think I like this one more than Inception because I didn't know this movie existed. Why would there be a movie like this? It was a book first, and I would like to read it, but what a crazy movie. It stars 2 warring magicians who, one fucked up the life of the first one, and now the first one is trying to get back at the second one, and there is deceit. There is, what's the word? Betrayal? I guess betrayal is a word that you could use. Magic. Not magic. Not black magic, just regular magic. Science. Crime. And other stuff. It's just a really wicked movie that I can't say much about because I would spoil the ending. So, go watch it. It's on Crave. You can go watch it. Would I buy a DVD? Would I buy a DVD of it? Hell yes. Yes, I would. I would buy 2 DVDs of it. I would buy 100 DVDs of it. Next up is You Don't Mess with the Zohan, 2008, directed by Dennis Dugan and starring Adam Sandler, Emmanuel Chiriqui, John Turturro, Nick Swardson, Lainey Kazan, and Rob Schneider. An Adam Sandler movie I had never watched before, and Chris was appalled, so we put it on. 5 stars. I fucking love this movie. Does everybody know about this movie? Like, we gotta get this, put this on CTV News, CBC News. Would I buy a DVD of it? Yes. Yes, I would. Next up, Grown Ups, 2010, directed by Dennis Dugan again, and starring Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Chris Rock, David Spade, Rob Schneider, Maya Rudolph, Salma Hayek. I've seen this movie before, of course. I saw it in theaters when it came out when I was 9. 5 stars. 5 stars. I think Grown Ups, along with, Uncut Gems, is my favorite Adam Sandler movies. This one for nostalgic reasons, because I've seen it so many times. I saw it in theaters with my mom after we saw Toy Story 3. It just holds a lot of good memories, and it always breaks me out of the slump that I'm in. The Sandman can do no wrong. And as you can see, I was on a bit of an Adam Sandler kick this month, or last month, I should say. The month of February, the month of love, is also the month of Adam Sandler. And would I buy a DVD of it? Yes, yes, yes. Moving on. Princess Mononoke, 1997, directed by Heiko Miyazaki, and starring in the English dub, Billy Crudup, Billy Bob Thornton, Minnie Driver, John DiMaggio, and Claire Danes. I've never seen a Ghibli film. Me and my friends have started doing movie nights at each other's houses where we watch Ghibli films because 2 of them are obsessed with them and the other 3 I haven't seen any. So we watched Princess Mononoke. 5 stars. We started off with like the goriest one, which I always fuck with. I loved it. It was so creepy and unsettling. All of like the like blood leech demons, the people wearing the pig / hog skins and floating along the floor like ghosts. The spirit of the forest itself, fucking creepy. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous, wonderful movie. And I would absolutely buy the DVD of this with behind the scenes, with other information about it, drawing, sketches. Mwah, it was wonderful. Next was Now You See Me. Now You See Me. In 2013, a rewatch, directed by Louis Leterrier and starring Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Mark Ruffalo, Isla Fisher, Dave Franco, Melanie Laurent, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman. It's a long list. 5 stars. Not the first time I've seen this. I just wanted something comfortable and familiar and funny and exciting. And it checks all those boxes. And really, Woody Harrelson is my favorite part. Because Woody Harrelson can do no wrong in my eyes. And if he ever does, I will be severely disappointed. So don't fail me, Woody. The stars, 4 magicians. I was on a bit of a magician kick. And also I could see, from having watched The Prestige, how certain parts of this are kind of nods to it, reminiscent of it, or just, they're both about magic, so they're gonna have similar elements to it. But Michael Caine was in this movie as well as The Prestige, so that had to have been deliberate. 4 magicians who are getting back at Michael Caine's character, who stole a bunch of money from people, and just really they're revealing all of the wrongs done to society. And Mark Ruffalo and Melanie Laurent are trying to catch them, and Morgan Freeman is trying to expose them. Would I buy a DVD of it? Yeah, because I'm gonna rewatch it. You know me. Following this, I watched Now You See Me 2, or known widely among fans as Now You Don't, because that should have been the name, but I understand they didn't want people to get confused and not realize it was tied to the first one. Whatever, really failed opportunity there. So this came out 2016, directed by John M. Chu, and starring Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Ruffalo, Woody Harrelson, Dave Franco, Lizzie Kaplan, Daniel Radcliffe, Michael Caine, and Morgan Freeman again. This one I gave 4.5 stars. It's still very good, but it doesn't have quite the same feel of the first one. It's like, they're gonna get out of all this. The one thing that this movie is like leagues above the first one is the card scene in the vault. That was perfectly directed, perfectly choreographed, perfect. But yeah, this one, it loses the 0.5 because we know the secret of the first one, which I won't say here. We know the secret of the first one, so we lose a bit of that dynamic. There is another secret that gets revealed, a couple secrets, but it's not quite the same as the first one. Shit happens. It's still a really good movie. And on top of that, I would buy a DVD of it to complete the set. Next, The Usual Suspects, 1995, directed by Bryan Singer and starring Stephen Baldwin, Gabriel Byrne, Benicio del Toro, Kevin Pollak, Kevin Spacey, and Chaz Palminteri. 4.5 stars. The only thing I'd known about this movie is the scene when they're in the lineup and they're doing like, give me the money, and Benicio del Toro behind the scenes farted in there, and all the other actors, the reason why they're laughing in that scene is because it smells so bad. So that's the only thing I knew about this movie, and I was gripped the entire time. I wanted to know what happened, and I correctly guessed the ending. So these five guys are all criminals. One of them's like, I don't do that lifestyle anymore, but they have to do like one last job, and shit goes wrong, and now the surviving member, or like just the one that they caught, is retelling the story of what happened in the police, not the police interrogation room, but to a policeman played by Chaz Palminteri. Giancarlo Esposito is also in this. Very cool. I would definitely buy a DVD of this for my cool collection. That was also on the scratch-off list I have here, now that I think about it. We're in the last 4 or so movies. Next up was Moonstruck, directed by Norman Jewison in 1987, starring Cher, Nick Cage, Vincent Gardenia, Olympia Dukakis, and Danny Aiello. 5 stars. This is a rom-com between Cher and Nick Cage, which shouldn't work, but it does so beautifully. And this is the movie that I was referring to earlier when I was talking about My Big Fat Greek Wedding of the cozy factor. This movie is so cozy, and again, it could be like just like the quality of the film. It feels grainy, but in the most romantic, sensual way possible. I drank a glass of wine during this movie, and that was like the perfect thing. It was so romantic and so beautiful, unconventional. Nick Cage and Cher have wonderful chemistry, and you get the famous "Snap Out of It" by Cher. And Nick Cage's crazy performance with "I lost my hand, I lost my bride." I don't know if you could have a more fantastically comfortable and sexy movie from this time. I would buy a DVD of it. I would even put up the poster. I would love a poster of it. Anybody who has one or has a poster dealer, send me the link. Next was Legion in 2010, directed by Scott Stewart, starring Paul Bettany, Dennis Quaid, Lucas Black, Adriana Palicki, and Tyrese Gibson. I gave this 4 stars, and all I had known about this movie was "Your fucking baby's gonna burn" by the old lady. Great line. But what I did know was that a lot of people thought this movie was shitty. And it is shitty, but in the best way possible. It's one of those shitty movies that is fun. It's not a boring shitty movie. It's fantastic. Why would you guys not like this movie? It's the end times, and Paul Bettany is Michael, and he has sacrificed his wings and his status as an angel to fight for mankind because he believes in them. And then another angel, played by Kevin, I always say Kevin Durant, and then I doubt myself, but Kevin Durant, who, love you, is another angel fighting him. And the plague comes, and crazy people with sharp teeth try to get to the people in this diner. I mean, come on, guys. It's a shitty movie, but it's a great shitty movie. And I would buy a DVD of it. So, it's a fantastic shitty movie. It's not boring at any point, and by the end of it, you're like, hold on, what happened? Hey, the ones of you who didn't like Legion, you're just not fun enough. You don't like whimsy. You don't like camp. And I can't save you from that. Next up was Magic Mike XXL. Came out in 2015, directed by Gregory Jacobs, and starring, once again, Channing Tatum, Matt Bomer, Joe Manganiello, Kevin Nash, and Adam Rodriguez. See, this one gets a 3.5 stars. If you remember from earlier in this video, the first one got 2 stars because it was shit and it was trying to be serious. When, like, if it wanted to be serious, it needed to be like a slightly different movie and overall tone. This one is the boys getting back together for one last show, one last lineup, one last road trip. And it's silly, it's fun. If it's fun, guys, who would have guessed? And I highly enjoyed myself more. There were still moments that made me uncomfortable because the dancing sexily doesn't always work. I don't know why Amber Heard is in this movie. That was such an odd choice. And again, I watched this with the friend who wanted to watch this one originally, and I forced her to watch the first one, and we will watch the third one together at some point, so you can expect that review, and then we can see which is the best one. I feel like it's this one, because I didn't even know they had a third one, so it clearly didn't do well. On that note, I still wouldn't buy a DVD of it, because this is a movie that's like, it's a streaming movie. Even though I want to get rid of streaming services, this is a movie that's like, that's Netflix. Like, I can watch that on Netflix or something. I don't want to own it. Our last movie, guys, is The Order, 2024, very, very recent, directed by Justin Kurzel, and starring Jude Law, Nicholas Hoult, Ty Sharita, and Journey Smollett. If that's wrong, I'm so sorry. My handwriting is like kind of terrible. I don't know if you can see that. What a letdown. 2.5 stars. I was so sad that this was the movie that ended the month, because while I wasn't jumping to watch this, I was looking forward to it, and Chris was really looking forward to it, and it's about, like, you know, fighting a white power group in I think it's the 70s. Jude Law is a cop that just moved to whatever area from New York, and he's like trying to relax and calm down his career, and now here's like this really big destructive white power group going around fucking shit up. And you would think that that's like, oh, it's going to be an exciting movie, or at least like a really informative movie in some regard, and it is inspired by real stuff that happened, a real group, and yet it was so unbelievably boring, and it also didn't really like paint these Nazis in such a terrible bad light. I mean, we as an audience in 2024 know that Nazis are bad and that power groups are bad, but the movie, I feel like, didn't really go into that at all. It was more Jude Law's character being a bad husband and father because he's on the job so much, and then Nicholas Holt's character being a bad husband and kind of father because he's doing white power stuff so much. The only good part that I liked was Jude Law's mustache. There was a sad moment that could have been really sad, but it was so expected that I called it like 5 minutes before it happened. I'm like, oh, this is gonna happen, and oh, look at that, it happened. Usually I really like Nicholas Hoult, but he kind of just did okay in this, and Jude Law should stick to the crazy statement I'm about to say. Jude Law should stick to romance movies, like rom-coms, and particularly the type of movies like Existence. Those are the only things he should do, in my humble opinion. So needless to say, would I buy this on DVD? No. No, absolutely not. Okay, guys, I really speed ran that shit, so I hope that this comes out shorter than the first movie wrap-up. But here are the analytics for February. We had 25 movies. 76% were new to me, to my eyes, and 24% were rewatches. Really, really good numbers here. Genre-wise, this is the breakdown. Number 1 going to comedy, number 2 going to drama, and number 3 going to crime. Another month where horror just really took a backseat burner, which, you know, we're all allowed to expand our tastes and try new things, but I am a horror girly and I really haven't been representing, so that's sad. These are the rating breakdowns, the stars. The majority were 5 stars because I'm not that picky. And then, you know, 4 stars, 3.5, whatever. If a movie, hey, is it good? I don't know, but I liked it. That's all I'll say. The decade breakdowns, I watched a whopping 48% of movies from the 2010s, and then a kind of spattering of other decades. Really, really big month for the 2010s, which don't always go appreciated. And my actors for this month. Now, there were a lot of actors that got 2 appearances, because I watched a lot of series and a lot of cinematic universes, the Sandler universe. So I won't include the people that got 2, but in ascending order, we have Rob Schneider with 3, Michael Caine with 4, and you know him, you love him, you knew he was king, the Adam Sandler. Chalamet. You guys saw that. That's probably old news by the time this video comes out. And guys, that's February. Hopefully this video will be edited so quickly and so well, and you'll enjoy it so much. And then I'll record the March one, which, a little inside information, March is not going so well for movie-wise because I am so incredibly busy. But that's for another video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you liked this type of, you know, the speedy, rapid fire reviews, or if you liked the longer, kind of slower, more je ne sais quoi reviews, like the January video. I want to do what you guys like. This is so that you can judge me at a much faster pace. You know, I'm considerate like that. But if you like to judge me at a more slow molasses-like speed, I can go back to that. Have a great day, guys. See ya.